Greetings, fellow prospectors. Rodamont here. Thank you for tuning in to Blossom, the Seed of Life. Episode 10, Constructing Top-Tier Mining Rigs. One of the reasons why I don't generally like the factory-style games, as a personal preference, I get the allure of, like, Factorio, Satisfactory, games of that nature. The reason I personally don't care for them is, like, they feel like work to me. They don't derive pleasure in feeding the factory. Like, that's just not my jam. It's just, it's the same reason why you generally don't find me playing a lot of the sim games, like run a grocery store. It's just like, or pressure washing, or, games of that nature. It just feels like work to me. I get the allure for people. I'm not saying they're bad games by any means. They're just not fun for me. And this game feels a little bit different. Same with the Planet Factory. Because in the Planet Factory in this game, like, it's not like an endless grind where you have to make a million of a thing. You actually get there reasonably quick, where it's, like, tolerable. Games with endless grinds, like, not literally endless, because, that would be exaggerating. But games with, like, grinds that feel like they seemingly never end, those are the ones that I don't care for. Because they're time sinks. They're massive time sinks, and, like, I'm a father. I don't have time for those kind of massive time sinks anymore. It's not my college years where, like, I can afford to do stuff like that. And, that's why I ultimately avoid those style games. Alright, let's go ahead and activate the panel. And, clear out the UI a bit. Oops. Here we are. This is the Blossom Station launch panel. I think it wants a uranium rod. Oh, no, don't do that. Stop. Stop it. Aww. Well, sorry guys, just bear with me. We're going to the wrong zone. Because I was like, I wonder if I could grab the uranium rod out of the old panel. No. I have the answer, if you're wondering. You can't. You know how I know? Anecdotal experience. Nothing like accidentally going to space, exactly. Accidental astronaut is not a phrase you typically hear. You know what? Being a spacefaring robot is so chill, I can fall asleep and land. Alright, one thing to remember when we re-land this thing is, like, it needs to get resocketed, because otherwise it disconnects its plug-in on launch, which is true of the crafting station that we've used. I don't yet have a crafting station built outside the base. I could. I just don't. And for that matter, we need to replug that in as well. Alright, here we go. Oh, this needs the Seed of Life to launch. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so we have the materials to launch. I just need to hook it up. And I should top up my own internal power. Grab the seed. Stick it in the Blossom launcher. And now for a launch for real. Bye, Rubeck. Sorry about the engine wash. You be okay. Alright, here we are. A new station. So we need to access the station vault. And acquire the station blueprints. So here's a sprinkler prototype. You can see what's going on there. So let's open this bad boy up. And we have a grass seed. And if we stick the grass seed in with a plumbed sprinkler station, it starts to grow grass. Pretty swanky. And you can imagine this is like what we're going to emulate down on the planet. I have been allergic to reading the data recovery, so don't mind me. And the way these doors open up, if you're wondering, in the station, because I know I did it really quickly, is the doors are locked until another plant is planted, so it's like a biolock. Biometric, right? Yeah, this is totally what they meant by biometric. This is a biometric lock, and you only open it up by planting seeds. Right? So this thing won't open, won't budge, until I've got the next 2 seeds sown. And just like that, the door's opened. Oh, yeah, this door opened. Sunflower, and what was the other one? Oak. Boom. So the station vault is now open, and we can acquire the station blueprints for being able to make things like a sprinkler. So sprinkler tier 1 and seed synthesizer tier 1. And if you're wondering, you cannot pull the seeds out of the sprinkler that is here. Normally you could, but not. This is a unique sprinkler, let's say. A prototype that just like absorbs the seeds and steals them away. I don't know where the oak tree is, but like the rest of this stuff looks pretty good. Pretty lush. I like it. Let's go do that down on the surface. So we're back in the pod. And down we go. Have myself a little rest. All right, before I forget, let's hook the pod back up. Right, Rubeck? And now, if we wanted to deploy a sprinkler tier 1, we need bloom core, which is 2 tungsten ore, 2 platinum ore. So we already have the tungsten drill. So let's go ahead and get what we... I could delete the old drill and get a new drill, but I think what makes more sense is to instead build 2 drills, to have a drill per resource we need, so I'm not constantly like uninstalling and reinstalling, because that gets real old real fast. Oh, come on, let me pick that iron up. Tab. Really? I can't tab through them? They added a tab for interaction. It highlights, but like, albeit very briefly. Maybe I can just kick it out. No, I kicked it, but not the right way, because I don't play soccer. Yeah. Get out of there. Okay, got it. And then the other thing we're going to want is the drill itself for platinum, which is 1 power junction, which I think I have one here. And then 2 radiation cells or 4 uranium. So let's start scanning for uranium. It was cute that I was able to, like, kick the thing out. I like that. And we'll start small. I'll just do 1 sprinkler. And then we'll start to scale up from there. I don't want to overinvest in tier 1. Hoping to be able to spot the platinum nugget. Nope. Are all ores on the surface? Yes. Well, I mean, technically some ores are like in the ponds, which I guess are subsurface, but I don't think that's what you meant. You don't deep drill. Unlike usual, I'm just going to get the bare minimum for this run, just to get it moving. Here's our rad cells. Fun and dope. And we are already toting around the water and the power. Oh, let's kill the scanner, though. I don't use up more power than I need to. And we are looking for the... Oh, actually, I should pin... So we have everything we need for the mining laser, right? So for the seed synthesizer, we need... Oh, no, not the seed synth. Sprinkler for the boom core, we need tungsten and platinum. But the seed synthesizer also required platinum, so we want like 8 platinum once we find the platinum node. Because we need 2 for the sprinkler and 6 for the platinum core for the seed synth. So we know that that's... Might as well get 8 while we're out there. And I totally forget the cardinal direction that we found the platinum. Because we haven't mined it yet, I can't scan for it. You can only scan for something after you mine it for the first time. So there's more tungsten. That's not what we're looking for. Cheers, by the way. There's some platinum. Also, the tier 3 drills are stupid. They will absolutely mine, like, random regolith chunks if you set them, like, they'll just do whatever. That's how they are. Oh, I'm not dragging the water, am I? Derp! JK, JK. Well, here's the thing. We'll set up the beacon and the drill here, and then we'll go get the water. I guess a yellow or white for platinum? That'll work. I wonder how close I am to rover tier 2. That would just solve everything. Because I don't really want to give up a battery slot. Like, there's nothing to give... There's no slot I want to give up on this rover at the moment. Like, the closest one would be storage, but that would still be unfortunate. I don't want to give up a storage slot. So just, like, one more slot would give me the ability to have water on my typical rover, which would be amazing. So how close am I to pressure max? You know what? I am low-key interested in just getting another damn drill to push it up faster. I have a bunch of heat cores. I have, what, one pressure core? Let's just do it. Get there a little bit faster. So I need 2 silica, 2 sulfur. Okay. I think I have... I thought I had sulfur. Yeah, I do. So we just need 2 silica. Something I probably should have done a while ago is, like, get the pressure up max, because the rover, the other advantage of the higher tier rover is it's faster, which is kind of a big deal in terms of return on investment efficiency. Alright, we should go a little bit sooner now. So let's, ditch... You know, I'll probably just ditch my wind turbines. Yeah, let's just ditch the wind turbines for water. And charge up. So we are aiming to get the sprinkler and the seed synth. So the platinum for both would be 8 and then 2 tungsten. So 8 plat, 2 tungsten is the goal. And then we're also going to need more resources after that for the carbon extractor too. In fact, knowing what I know about the game, it might be worth getting the carbon extractor first, because the carbon extractor, little spoiler, the carbon extractor, oh my god, what is going on with this cable? The carbon extractor lets you make seeds, but it takes a while for the carbon extractor to, like, kick in. With that in mind, we would need a cobalt drill. Oh god, now back to making drills. So let's get yet another mining laser and beacon for cobalt. So 1 iron, 1 copper, and then 1 more copper and 2 chromium. I need 2 copper and radiation, uranium. And then we'll have drills for 3 different materials, which is, take me a little while to get, but once we have it, you know, it'll be much easier to make quicker progress as a result. And because I don't have the wind turbines hooked up on this rover, I definitely don't want to overuse the scanner, because I don't have a method to produce power on this thing, so it could run itself out of power. Yeah, I still have a tier 2 generator that I could hypothetically recycle. True enough. I will say, you eventually get to a point where, like, recycling old stuff often gives you resources that then you will just have to figure out where to store, rather than giving you resources that you need to continue to build. Meaning, like, I generally just, like, unless it's refunds and then immediately correlates to building the tier 3 version of it, so that's not obsolete, I usually just leave it. Which is why I have, like, a tier 2 wind turbine, because there's no materials that I would, like, refund off a tier 2 wind turbine that I, like, immediately need for any reason. Same with when you're done with, like, producing heat. Those heat cores, they don't do anything for you. I don't need heat cores. And the same will be true of the pressure cores once the drills are done adding pressure to the atmosphere. The pressure cores I could just throw on the ground. They really don't matter at that point. All right. So we already have the... We need the 2 cells. And now we're looking for cobalt. So I have everything we need to mine cobalt. I've got the drill and the beacon to flag it. And I think that's cobalt right there. That looks blue, not purple. From a distance, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, when you're up close, it's pretty obvious. Well, obviously when you're, like, reading it, but... I feel like they could have made cobalt more teal colored, so it doesn't look like tungsten from a distance. All right. Drills down. And beacons down. And let's pin what we're working towards. So we're working towards the carbon extractor, which will require 6 cobalt and 6 tungsten. And I also want to make sure not to drain the wagon of all of its power. So that would be a totally separate problem. After getting the carbon extractor, the seed synth and the sprinkler do not require cobalt, so I don't need any more than the 6 cobalt for now. And yes, 4 wagons is the limit. So that's number 6. Let's set up the beacon so it's blue. Retrieve the cobalt, refine it into an ingot, power up the rover, and then head to tungsten. I could also fill up my water tanks, but I don't think I need to just yet. Drilling for this material doesn't use up that much water. Alright, there's the cobalt ingot. Rover's nice and topped up. So let's head to tungsten. And I believe we're getting 10 tungsten because we'll need 2 tungsten for the bloom core and 6 tungsten for the carbon extractor. And then after this, we'll get 2 platinum for the bloom core. So it's 1 bloom core, 1 carbon, basically 1 of everything of the next tech tier. Because the bloom core for the sprinkler costs 2 tungsten, and for the carbon extractor costs 6 tungsten, so 8. Just double check. We also need to keep an eye on, so I'm filling my backpack essentially with tungsten, but we also want to keep an eye on our rover's power. So I'll open up the power overlay to just keep an eye on the batteries, because we don't want to drain the rover completely, because if it gets marooned all the way out here, we're kind of low-key screwed. It would be really annoying to fix. And I don't want to run out of power either. So I'll top myself up. Other than removing a battery, I could... So, yeah, one of the things I was going to do is once we get the rover tier 2, the rover tier 2, the rover itself has 2 slots, and the 2 slots I'll have on that rover will be a miner and a scanner. And then the scanner slot I'll replace with a water tank, because we don't need as much water as we need power. I need 8, not 10. Because it's 2 for the... 6 for the ingot and then 2 for the bloom. I'll double check the bloom core, but I'm pretty sure the bloom core is 2 and 2. Sprinkler, 2 and 2. Yep. Okay. Let's go collect the last plat, or tungsten. Recharge, refine, and then go get platinum. And for that, we only need the 2. But before we... I'm going to stick around during the refining because I want to set up the carbon extractor ASAP. Because carbon extraction is slow, and the more carbon that we have, the better when it comes to seed synthesis. So, there's a reason why I'm doing it in this order of operation. Gens, thank you for the resub. Oops, whatever. Maybe I'll fill up my water tank just because I'm sitting here. This one drained just about all the way out. Hey, Rubeck. Hey, you want to follow me around, Rubeck? Come over here. There you go. A little bit more space to play in. Cheers, by the way. Wonder how close I am to pressure max. 86 out of 105. Getting pretty close. Alright, with the cobalt and tungsten ingots, let's get ourselves a carbon extractor. Also, the carbon extractor is rather noisy and kind of annoying sounding, so just like keep that in mind. But I'm going to set it up over yonder. And I might need to drag the tier 2 extender out that way rather than the inverse, but we'll see. Oh no, it reaches. Okay, so we are carbon extracting now. Perfect. While I'm standing here checking on fuel, both rods are there. Okay, so taking a look, this thing is using 5 water and 3 power, and what it's doing is it's like creating carbon cubes for us to turn into seeds. So the next step is the bloom core. So let's go mine 2 platinum. Which is this way. And I'll pin it so that you can track what we're doing. Oops. So far, we have the carbon extractor. Oh, you know what? We need 8 platinum. Sorry. So 2 for the bloom core and 6 for the seed synth. And then we'll need 6 rads, or 4 rad cells. Or 2 rad cells, or 4 uranium, I should say. Once we have the platinum. So if we need 8 of these, I should put the tungsten away in the storage so I have room. Oh, and here it is mining the regolith. As I said, the drill's stupid, and we'll just mine whatever the hell's around. It's fine. Now the regolith is gone. I do have a tier 2 fuel. No, that only gives me silver wire and composite metal. I don't need any of that. So never mind. I was gonna say maybe we can refund it, but it doesn't give me anything that I'm working towards. And the tier 3 laser coming in handy for that uranium. So we need 3 more uranium. Once the platinum is mined up. You won't see the laser. Well, let me replug it in so it's actually visual. There we go. The laser was actually working. It just wasn't like an invisible beam because I had done that to the uranium. Do mine resources despawn after a while? I think they will stay on the ground. I don't think they despawn. So, just fill my backpack with platinum. And get 3 more uranium. And we'll be all set. So let's set up the scanner for uranium. which it is already. I just don't want to turn it on just yet because I don't want to run my batteries out. Batteries are kind of low. I think I can get 2 more. Oh no, yeah, I can get 2 more before I run out. So we don't have to make a return trip. Come on. There it is. All right. We have all but 3 uranium that we need to start sowing seeds. Although this rover, I'm closest to 0 that I've gotten in a while, I'll put it that way. There is a uranium rod slot open. Copy that. Well, the worst case scenario wouldn't be a long trek home. It would be my robot runs out of power on the trip home and I, like, just die. So the carbon extractor extracts these little, like, blocks of carbon. One thing to note is we'll only extract so many blocks of carbon underneath it until it stops. So collect it periodically, either with drones or manually, because it will cease to produce stuff after a while. Alright, so we have the sprinkler tier 1. Now, remember what I said about the sprinkler? Don't put it near your base because it will obfuscate your cables. We're going to be following that rule still. So I'm not going to print the sprinkler just yet because there's nothing we can sprinkle without a seed synthesizer. So for that, we need the 3 more radiation. So, or two radiation cells or 3 more uranium core. And the carbon blocks will refine into carbon rods at a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you go over to the materials here, or sorry, into the fuel, you can make a carbon rod out of it, which is what the whole point is. So let's go scan for 3 uranium. Then we'll have the seed synthesizer. So the production chain is essentially you set up a carbon skimmer, essentially. It's like, I think it's supposed to be skinning carbon from the atmosphere or something like that. And then you refine it into a carbon rod, and then the carbon rod, you can then print seeds. And then we'll go through the seed synthesis process in a minute. If I hooked up my windmill to the wagon, would it charge the base? Yeah, but not meaningfully. The wagon produces like 0.3 power. So yes, you could do it that way. You could hypothetically charge like remote mining that way. It's just not a meaningful amount. Mobile power is like 1/10 of what you'll get from stationary power, or less, like a 20th or something like that. So yeah, it would work, but not in the order of magnitude that you'd hope for. So we have everything we need now. And we just have to decide where we want to sprinkle first. Which will be somewhere where we have water plumbing. Maybe there where like it's bugged out, so I'll redeploy that thing. Because that looks annoying. I could also just sprinkle right over here. Close to the base. The closer to the base, the better, and you'll understand why in a minute. Thank you for tuning in to Blossom, the Seed of Life, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhydamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhydamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow terraformers.